Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, we got the opportunity finally to see Danny Garcia versus Erislandy Lara. Garcia had been asking for this fight for quite some time, had been rumored that this fight was going to happen probably over a year or so ago, and it finally came to fruition. But unfortunately, it did not turn out the way that Danny Garcia expected it to. I believe when they targeted Erislandy Lara, it was an opportunity to win a title in the third weight class. And I felt that they believed that Erislandy Lara, not saying that he was a cherry, but he was someone who clearly was not a big guy for the weight class, someone who was up in age a little bit, didn't quite look like the same Erislandy Lara that we've seen in the past. And he thought that he had the opportunity to move up and win. And he didn't, because clearly his heart is not into boxing the way that it used to be. I think that was somewhat clear just based off of some of the interviews that we've heard from Danny Garcia, just talking about the way he's established himself outside of the sport of boxing. So when you don't need it, you're waking up in those silk sheets every day. You're not going to have the same drive that you did in the past. And to be honest with you, I just think Danny's probably been there for quite some time. Not just, I could probably go all the way back to the Benavidez fight that he was probably feeling that way. It's just, he was more talented than Benavidez. And, if you're not pushed, then you can probably still perform. But in the event that you get into boxing or you're in a ring and someone is pushing you and your heart's not there, it's going to all come out in the ring. And so I think it came out last night. The shot that he got caught with that put him down, to me, didn't look like a real tough, hard punch. And even at the end, when he mentioned that, he was, or when he went over to the corner and Angel Garcia made the comment, I think it's over, and the ref asked Danny, hey, is it over? And Danny was like, well, it's up to him. That tells me right there that he didn't want to be there anymore. He was done. Because, I think the old Danny Garcia would say, no, absolutely, I want to continue to go. And it would have had to have been Angel that stopped the fight. Now, one thing I want to say, Jay, is this. Moving up to a weight class when you're looking at a fighter, believing that fighter's measurables match up to your measurables and that he has subsequently become vulnerable based off of his past performances and then going up and getting beat soundly. That sounds like another gentleman that we know is very thirsty for a fight, but I'm not going to go there. Jay, what are your thoughts on this particular fight? And the other thing I want to ask you, Jay, is Hall of Famer. Because I heard them mention this on the telecast last night, saying that, and I didn't get to watch the fight live, unfortunately. I had a lot of things going on yesterday, but I heard them mention that he's like a borderline Hall of Famer. Potentially he's won titles. I think he's beaten 10 former world champions or something like that. Is Danny Garcia a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, that's a tough one right there for me. But regarding that fight with him and Lara, that was a lackluster fight. I think he probably picked Lara as well because he saw Lara, to your point, was a smaller champion at a different weight class. They had a catch weight at 157. They both came in like 156 and some change for a 160-pound title. So you see, he was almost like he was hedging his bet. He was like he thought that was a cherry pick in a sense, instead of going to try to see people at 154 or other champions at 160 or anything like that. He picked Lara. Lara's smaller guy. When they weighed in, did the face off, they're about the same. They were the same height and everything. Dan looked like he might be a little bit taller than Lara. We know Lara's campaign at the heavier weight longer than Danny has even touched that 154 and 160. But still, the fight, it was rough to watch too, because you have two counterpunchers, and that's just who Lara is. Lara's going to counterpunch you and then get you up out of there if he can, especially his last 4 fights, how he's been fighting. Danny, on the other hand, he seemed very reluctant. He seemed gunshot. I know he's a counterpuncher, but man, he wasn't throwing punches or nothing. So I was disappointed in that, and that just led to the end base of the fight, because you could see his heart wasn't in it. It's like he was there. He talked a good game up until a fight night, but when he got in this ring, the lights came on. It's almost he reverted back to being like, you know what? I really don't want to do this no more. And to your point, the shot that dropped him, it's like he got hit, and when he got hit, it came in and clicked on. It's like, I don't need this no more. Let me take the knee. I don't need this no more. So plus I think also the fact that there were boos during that fight as well. So that guy messed with your ego because he's never been in a fight where he got booed or anything like that, to the best of my knowledge, my memory. So I mean that had to hurt, had to impact his ego as well. And then having family things with his father and stuff. So I think it made it easy for him because he's said time and time again, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. So he was trying to chase legacy, chasing greatness, as everyone says nowadays, to try to get a belt to be a three division champion to try to help cement his legacy for Hall of Fame. Now, is he a Hall of Fame? I mean, I'm quite sure. I think he's on the cusp, but first ballot, I definitely wouldn't say he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. If he had won this fight to get another belt that add to the accolades, then that would help him. Lara is a good name to have on the resume, even at the age of 41, especially with what Lara's been fighting these last 3 or 4 fights. But I don't know how soon he gets in the Hall of Fame. But a lot of people been getting in the Hall of Fame that I felt like might not be Hall of Fame worthy like that. Maybe because the way I look at Hall of Fame, I believe Hall of Fame, it's like the highest of the high.
Yeah, me too.
Also, it's not just your accolades; it's also who you beat to get those accolades as well. I do a combination of that, but he had a good career. I wish Danny nothing but the best if this is his last fight.
It needs to be his last fight, in my personal opinion. The desire is not there anymore, and I think if he does come back, he's only fighting for a check. And I personally think Danny's better than that. As far as Hall of Fame is concerned, I'm kind of like you. Like when I think of Hall of Famers, I think of Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, Sugar Ray Leonard. Who else? Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, those are the guys that I think about when I think Hall of Fame. I'm talking about the elite of the elite. And so, to your point, there are a number of individuals, at least one that comes to mind, that I feel like, man, I don't see it. Personally, I don't think Sean Porter's a Hall of Famer, and I'm struggling with Danny too. And I think Danny's accomplished. He has a hell of a career. He's beaten some notable names, but who on Danny's resume has he beaten that you believe will go to the Hall of Fame? Nobody I can think of, right? So I'm struggling I'm struggling with even been in the ring with that's going to the Hall of Fame outside of maybe Errol.
But he lost him.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying just even been in the ring with. So So unless I'm thinking about somebody who was maybe a little bit past their prime when Danny fought him, because I'm missing somebody. Did he beat Eric Morales? That's the name that was coming in my mind.
Eric Morales and beat Zab Judah.
Zab is not going to the Hall of Fame. He beat Eric Morales, but if I remember correctly, Eric Morales was old at that point. So
him and Eric Morales fought twice.
Yeah, and Eric Morales had to be well into his mid-30s when he fought him, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know if he does. Great for Danny. I'm not gonna begrudge that whatsoever, but I do believe it's time for Danny Garcia to wrap it up. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to Danny Garcia's performance last night and whether it's time for him to hang up the gloves. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.